Well, hi guys, welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Opening Bell with me, Nandita Khemka. Thursday morning, cues are pretty strong. We had a truncated session on Wall Street, given the fact that Wall Street will be shut on account of Independence Day for today. Asian markets are strong as well. The topics in Japan has hit a fresh record high. The GIFT Nifty is hinting at a positive start for our markets. 23,400 will be on the radar, but some bit of volatility could be expected today, given the fact that it is the weekly FNO expiry on the index. But lots of cues to digest. Yes, lots of first quarter updates trickling in, from L&T Finance, Bajaj Finance and the likes. We will be focusing in on these stocks. We'll also be focusing in on your stock related queries. So if you have any queries, keep them coming in on our live feed on YouTube. We'll try and get them addressed by our experts on the show. But then, before we move any further, let's take a look at the top stories at this hour. Wall Street, S&P and the Nasdaq hit record highs yet again, despite weaker than expected private payroll data for the month of June. Minutes from the Fed's June meeting indicate that despite progress on inflation, it will not cut rates until there is greater confidence of it reaching the 2% mark. Asian markets trade with gains on a strong handover from Wall Street. The Tokyo's Topix has hit a fresh record high in today's session, and the GIFT Nifty as well, hinting at a higher start for the Indian market. Brent crude rises above $87 a barrel as US inventory falls, signaling an uptick in demand ahead of the 4th July Independence Day holiday. Fears that Hurricane Beryl could damage oil installations along the Gulf Coast also push prices higher. And the T20 World Champions are back home, finally, after being stuck in Barbados for nearly 3 days due to Hurricane Beryl. The champs touched down in New Delhi early morning and received a grand welcome from supporters and well-wishers. Now, Team India will be meeting Prime Minister Modi for breakfast and will also have an open bus parade in the evening from Nariman Point to the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Well, just about 9 minutes to go for the markets to open, but let me just recap what happened in yesterday's session. We did surge to a record high. The Nifty crossed that 24,300 mark, although we didn't really close above that level. Fresh highs were clocked in yesterday's session, and of course, not to forget that the Sensex clocked a major milestone of 80,000 yesterday. Banks were firing up, and we saw the Nifty Bank hit a fresh lifetime high, crossed that 53,000 mark decisively. In fact, it will be watched out for, that 53,000 mark will be watched out for in terms of support levels on the Nifty Bank index. Aside of that, if you look at the broader end of the markets, they were also pretty buoyant. But just to tell you that in 2024 so far, the BSE listed companies have added market capitalization of more than 80 lakh crore rupees. The buying was majorly led by HDFC Bank. That was the top contributor on the Nifty 50. And if you look at some of the option cues that we are getting, the Nifty put call ratio rose to 1.24 vis-a-vis 1.15 in the previous session. Talking about the stocks that will be in ban today, only one stock in ban continues to be in ban, rather, India Cements. Hindustan Copper, in fact, has been a new entrant. So, two stocks in FNO ban today. Indus Stars is one that has exited the FNO ban list. In terms of fund flows, domestic investors turned sellers yesterday. They sold shares to the tune of 920 crore rupees or thereabouts. On the flip side, a large FI buying figure was seen, 5,500 crores nearly. Worth of stocks bought in the cash market. So FII buy figure is pretty big. At least for yesterday, it was pretty considerable. But aside of that, if you look at some of the stocks that are being focused, talking about L&T Finance, the first quarter update has come out. Retailization stands at 95% versus 82% on a YY basis. Retail disbursements have also picked up, 33% uptick there at 14,830 vis-a-vis 11,200 crore rupees or thereabouts. Retail loan book also saw a good 30% jump at 84,440 crores vis-a-vis 64,270 crore rupees or thereabouts. So that's one stock that will be in focus, given the fact that the first quarter update is pretty strong. Retail loan book growth of over 30%. 50%. The stock will of course be reacting to that. Bandhan Bank is the other one. Weak set of update coming in there. Loans and advances have grown just about 0.7% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but on a YY basis, it has grown by somewhere around 21% or thereabouts. Total deposits are down 1.5% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but up 22% on a YY basis. CASA deposits have also, come down by 11% or so on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Retail deposits are down almost 2% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and CASA ratio stands at 33.4% vis-a-vis 37.1% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Yesterday, the stock saw a fair bit of buying interest. So this stock will be in focus. It has been in focus given the fact that the RBI had appointed an additional director on the board ahead of CS Ghosh stepping down later this month. So this stock will be in focus, and there's another stock that will be in focus on the back of news flow, which is Abbas Financiers. It's a Moneycontrol exclusive that there could be a mega stake sale brewing in this counter. Promoters Kedara and Partners Group are exploring full exit from the company. In fact, that's according to sources. Both the groups, Kedara and Partners Group, own a combined almost a 27% stake. And if the entire stake sale goes through, then there could be an open offer that may be triggered. And at yesterday's close price, the stake owned by Kedara and Partners Group, I beg your pardon, is worth somewhere around 3,900 crore rupees. So this is one stock that you should be keeping on your radar this morning. Also in focus will be Brigade Enterprises. It has signed a joint development agreement for a residential project in West Bengaluru. Now the gross development value of the project is said to be somewhere around 1,100 crore rupees. So Brigade Enterprise, keep that on your radar as well. So all these stocks will be reacting in today's session, aside of Bajaj Finance, which by the way I haven't really mentioned. The first quarter update is pretty strong. We've seen AUM grow somewhere around 30%, and new loans growth has also been in double digits, 10%. So good set of update coming in, and of course we know that the overhang of RBI ban on two of its products has been removed as well. So we will be touching base with our experts and asking them about how really Bajaj Finance is stacking up after the first quarter update. But let me first bring on board our technical guest for today. Joining me is Chandan Taparia of Motilal Oswal. Hi Chandan, great to have you on the show. We've been smashing record levels in every other session. 24,300 has been clocked. 24,400 on weekly expiry day. Is it a possibility? What are the charts suggesting?
Good morning, Nandita. Thanks for having me. So Nifty has been making high rise, high lows from last 7-8 trading session, and every day almost we are hitting to the new lifetime highs. I believe these are just numbers, and market has potential to scale much higher. The good part yesterday was the Sensex hit a milestone of 80,000, and Nifty is holding well above 24,000 to remark a lifetime high of 24,300 plus. So as of now, the setup is positive until it holds high rise, high lows. We believe one can continue to go with bullish stance for an upside move towards 24,400 and 24,750. So yes, one can continue to be with bullish stance with support of 24,200 for 24,400 plus zone for the day point of view.
The Nifty Bank Index, of course, also hit a fresh lifetime high. HDFC Bank, that was the top mover. 2.5% gain coming in, top positive contributor on the Nifty as well. What should one do with HDFC Bank? Should one accumulate it, in a staggered manner, or should one go all in now? We also have queries coming in on HDFC Bank. Prakash wants to know what's the future of the stock in terms of monthly expiry. Is it going to cross 1900 mark? Would you expect those levels on the charts anytime soon?
Yeah, Nandita, this first talking about Bank Nifty, it made a new record high at 53,256. It gave a consolidation breakout of last 5 days and again scaling higher. So till it holds above 52,750, immediate trend could intake to positive. We are expecting 54,000 to 55,000 marks in Bank Nifty, and thanks to HDFC Bank. So talking about Bank Nifty, one can stay bullish with support of 52,750 for next leg of rally. HDFC Bank has seen a good momentum in last couple of days. In fact, on weekly basis, it has been making high tops, high bottom. And it clearly says that elephant can dance, and this stock has given a major breakout on the daily and the weekly chart. If I convert into the monthly chart, I believe this is the breakout after long 33, 36 months consolidation. Many times it came near 1750, 1700 zone and remained consolidative. But now the base is shifting higher, and we believe that till it holds above 1720, it has potential to scale the new high towards 1800 to 1850 marks.
Okay, 1800 to 1850. Those are the levels to watch out for on HDFC Bank. But as we head into opening bell, I want to ask you, what would you be keeping on your radar in terms of specific stocks? Any recommendations for our viewers for the next 2 days?
Yeah, so Nandita, positively on the difference name, Nifty CPSE index itself is giving the breakout of last 10, 12 days. CPSE gave the highest daily close, and we have positive on the most of the defense and shipping name. So in defense, in heavyweights, we have two names, whether we talk about HAL or BL. So I can recommend buy on BL here. Even I like HAL, Cochin Shipyard, Mazgaundo. So one can buy BL with support of 305 for an upside move towards 335. Apart from that, positive on the power companies, whether you talk about the PFC, REC or Power Grid. So power and power finance companies are likely to do well. One can buy Power Grid with support of 330 for an upside move till 350 zone. So power and defense could be on radar for the day.
Just want to get in your thoughts on a Bajaj Finance. The first quarter update looks pretty solid. 7,600, I think this is where the stock is at right now. But could it retest levels of 8,000 in the next couple of weeks?
What we noticed in last couple of days that selective heavyweights which underperform started to witness buying interest, whether you take the name of Reliance Industry or HDFC Bank. So Bajaj Finance also come into that category. It remain underperformed and in a broader range with multiple barrier near 7350 zone, 7350 to 7400 zone. But it seems that now the breakout will be there with kept upside. I believe with support of 7100, it has potential to reclaim 7500 to 7570 kind of levels on our side.
All right, opening bell for you there. Record levels once again, 24,330 is where the Nifty is at. The Sensex is cruising above that 80,100 mark. So yes, it is another day of record high on the indices. The broader end of the markets are also fairly stable. The mid-cap index is up 0.3%, 24,350. We are around those levels for the Nifty, so 24,400. We will be watching out for that level, whether or not we manage to clock that level in the first half itself or not, and then make our way towards the next psychological mark, which would be 24,500. The Nifty Bank Index, no fireworks as of now, but it is firmly in the positive zone, an 80-point uptick on the Nifty Bank Index. Pull up some of the other indices then. Metals, I want to see what that index is doing, because yesterday it was among the top performers. Today as well, solid 0.7% kind of gains coming in there. Aside of that, let's also see what the IT pack is doing. Yesterday, IT cooled off a bit after 3 straight days of gains, on the back of positive views coming from brokerages. IT pack solid 0.7% kind of an up move there as well. All the sectors, I can see all the sectors are trading with gains. IT, metals, PSU banks as well not performing badly, 0.5% uptick coming in there. The realty pack is also 0.5% higher. So all in all, most of the sectors are trading in the green, led by IT and metals. If you look at the India VIX index, flat now but remains below that 13.5 level. We'll be keeping a check on volatility as well, given the fact that it is a weekly expiry day on the index. But in terms of individual movers, let's see which are the top gainers today. Hindalco, that's almost 2% higher. Wipro, HCL Tech, these are some of the other movers. ICICI Bank, Tata Motors, M&M, TCS, LTI, Mindtree. So it's a mix of metals, autos as well as IT stocks. Bajaj Finance also, by the way, 0.7% gain coming in there on the back of strong update for the first quarter. HDFC Bank, some profit taking coming in after yesterday's up move. Top Nifty loser, 1.5% lower. Shriram Finance is the other one. Cipla, Adani Enterprises, HUL, Hero Moto, Grasim. These are some of the other stocks that are in focus. But Chandan, coming to you, Hindalco, 2% uptick coming in there. Yesterday we saw good buying in metal names as well. So anything catching your fancy? Hindalco, Tata Steel, SAIL?
Yeah, so positive global sentiments and positive raw materials are supporting the price in the metal name. So we have two name in the mind. First is the Hindalco, second is the JSW Steel. So talking about Hindalco, slow and steady, it is moving upwards. It has given a decisive hold about 700. So because of that, some recovery could be there. So I believe with support of 690, one can see an upside towards 725 level. JSW still may be other top pick in the metal name, which is given a breakout, and I think now trading at new lifetime high territory. One can buy with support of 934 for an upside move till 985 kind of levels.
Chandan, want to get in your thoughts on Cello World. This stock is buzzing. It has been buzzing for quite a few sessions now. In the last 5 sessions, up 15%. Last 1 month also, it has seen a good 20% up move. At 52-week highs, there is news flow that the company will be raising 730 crore rupees via QIP, and the indicative price has been fixed at 852 rupees per share, which is, of course, at a 200 to 250 kind of discount to current price. But would you say that the stock is approaching overbought zone, or would you say that there's still some more time to go before that happens?
So I think this stock just came 8 months back and witnessing sustained buying interest, the market momentum and the liquidity is also supporting the price action. 2 days back, it gave a major breakout on the daily chart after the long consolidating move of 45 days. So I believe it could continue. 950 could act as a major support. And in this momentum, it can even it can see the potential rally towards 1050 to 1080.
Right. Another stock I want to get in your thoughts on is Aavas Financiers. The stock is somewhere around 1840 or thereabouts. Close to inching towards its 52-week highs or all-time highs as well. It's a Moneycontrol exclusive that there could be a mega stake sale brewing as Kedara and Partners Group may explore full exit. And if the full exit or full stake sale happens, there could be a possibility of an open offer as well here. But within the housing finance space, given the fact that, of course, there's a lot of impetus being given on affordable housing as well, which are the stocks that you're liking in this space, and particularly for Aavas, what would you be watching out for on the charts?
So when you're looking at this sector, let me shift the focus to other name. But yes, first, if I talk about the Aavas, we have seen some sort of consolidations for last 10-15 days. Setup seems some profit booking decline on lower side. So I believe it can drip down towards 1770, 1800 zone before starting the next leg of rally. But in housing developments, we have positive on the Hoodco. Major trend is positive. It has given a consolidation breakout. So with support of 308, it can head towards 335. NBCC looks positive. One of the preferred pick with support of 169. It can head towards 182. So I'll go with NBCC, Hoodco, IREDA. Even IRDA can head towards 235 to 40 zone. So these will be my preferred pick, and momentum of 5 to 8% could be seen in most of these names.
Okay, we also had a query on IREDA. Good, you answered that as well. Srivardhan Gupta wanted to know your thoughts on this stock. Of course, it has fired up, and how in the last 5 days itself, 18% kind of a move coming in on IREDA. So yeah. Buzzing stock there. But the next query is coming in on a Yes Bank. Aju Anian wants to know your thoughts on this. The Q1 update just came in recently. So Yes Bank within the banking pack, how is that looking? Would you say that look at better names rather than going for a Yes Bank now? And if somebody is already holding some shares of Yes Bank, what should they do?
It's very tough to reply because the structure of the counter is not turning in the bullish side. If you ask me again and again, then I think believe on the defense, Nifty CPSE, selective these housing finance companies, even auto ancillaries. But Yes Bank has got stuck in a range. I believe it's very tough to get the breakout because many people got stuck here, and whenever it recovers high, sustained supply happens. So that is the reason that the stock is not ready to hold beyond a key level. If it moves about 26, 27, then only we can look for any move. Otherwise, it may consolidate. If you bought at lower level, then that's great. Try to exit on any bounce. But if you bought at high levels, try to exit and dilute your money into the other name. If you want to go about banking, I'll go with ICICI Bank being in heavyweights. Even if you want with the lower price, I can go with City Union Bank with the view that some 5 to 10% move could be there. And if you are holding positionally, then 10 to 15% really could be there in this name.
All right, that's the view on Yes Bank and other banks and what you should be doing with this particular counter at the current juncture. Hope that answers your query. But hold that thought, Chandan. We'll come back and discuss more queries with you. But let me also bring on board our next guest for today. Joining me is Prakash, Diwan, market expert. Prakash, great to have you on the show. How are you feeling? 80,000 on the Sensex is here, and there's no stopping this bull run, right? I mean, Nifty approaching that 24,500 mark. But would you say that all the kind of up move that we are witnessing is being driven by narratives, and first quarter results perhaps could be a reality check? How would you really approach things now?
No, absolutely. A pleasure to be on this show, Nanda. But I think the market is getting into a stage where momentum is kind of preceding everything else. You really don't have value pockets lying anywhere. Most of the stocks have run up way ahead of what you could anticipate, even if earnings were to be good. And there's a tendency of the market on new highs to start believing in the narratives that have brought you till here, and that extension can get a bit perilous, given the fact that earnings will take their own time to actually get digested, and the other thing that we are missing out on is that end of this month we'll probably have a budget which is actually going to set the tone for which sectors, which stocks would probably do better than the others. But largely, while the direction of the market remains up, there is definitely need for some sort of a profits being taken off the table, and you really don't want to be caught in that state where your stocks, your sectors in the portfolio see that kind of a profit booking, which could be fairly rapid. So you have to hedge your positions very clearly, or you sit on cash, take some profits off. Long-term stories do go through these phases of consolidation, and some of the investors that we have in the market have probably not seen a correction. So I'm not too sure how markets will behave, how the investor behavior will pan out. But I would definitely be a bit cautious at these levels, not from a 80,000 on the Sensex or a 24,500 on the Nifty, but more from the way the stocks are running up a bit too ahead of their earnings catch-up.
Right. The elephant has finally started moving. When I say the elephant, I mean the Nifty Bank Index, and particularly HDFC Bank. Of course, now that the foreign headroom has increased and there are chances of increased MSCI weight, but that was being talked about for some time, right? So would you say that the positives around the MSCI weight increase have already been baked into the prices for HDFC Bank? Because today, again, it's among the top Nifty losers, right? So would you say that these dips should be used to accumulate the stock now in a staggered manner?
Not really, not really. See, the weighted change is the technicality which will mean that there will be a lot of buying coming in. The inflows are driving the stock up. But have the fundamentals changed so dramatically that you've seen the stock already move from 1,300 to 1,800, right, in a span of 2 months? You need to understand that things take time on the earnings side to catch up. And once the HDFC Bank numbers are out, once you get an update on whether things are really changing, that's when the market will kind of start sensing whether this is overweighted or overvalued or undervalued. But at this point, I think it's just the liquidity flow in some of these counters that's kind of bringing them up. But I would not add just because there's going to be liquidity. Remember, liquidity is subject to ETFs continuing to put money into India, and if that were to kind of take a pause, you'll probably again not see these same levels get very sustained. So there is a question of sustain. It's a great stock. I'm not taking away the fact that there will be changes which will be very favorable for the stock to kind of go higher. But at this point in time, if you were to buy into HDFC at 1,700 odd, the risk reward is not going to be as favorable.
Okay, that's about HDFC Bank, but I want to also shift your focus to Bajaj Finance. There was an overhang, right, when RBI put out a ban on 2 of its products, but that is a thing of the past now. There is a Bajaj housing IPO around the corner. Q1 update looks fairly strong with the 10% growth in new loans. So how would you approach Bajaj Finance? Do you think it offers valuation comfort, and here on we could see the stock heading higher?
So this is a tricky one. Bajaj Finance has always been traded at very expensive valuations. There's always a super high premium attached to its earnings expectation. But this time around, it seems like it hasn't been pushed into that overbought territory, which means that people are still underweight, and you may not necessarily see a capitulation in case something doesn't go as anticipated. So you'll probably be able to build on it over a period of time and get some money. But remember, NBFCs as a space is fairly vast. And it's actually that housing finance element which is driving even the salience in Bajaj Finance today. But if that is the case, why won't you look at housing finance, a pure housing finance company? I mean, you were speaking to Chandan about Awas, for instance.
Right.
I mean, there are companies which are very focused, very clearly seeing the benefit of this spurt in housing finance businesses all across the segments. If that is the case, something like a Canfin Home, something like a PNB Housing Finance, something like an LIC Housing Finance, those are direct plays that could probably make more sense. Bajaj Finance has other things which could kind of keep a lid on the kind of growth that it will have. So it's a mixed bag, but as compared to banks, yes, Bajaj Finance or any of these NBFCs will probably start doing much better in the next 6 months. But of course, I would still wait for the budget to see if there's any follow through in terms of the kind of growth that some of these sectors, some of these sub-sectors could start anticipating. So, honestly, at this point in time, we are just kind of sitting on the sidelines, sitting on cash, making sure that we take profits wherever, it's a bit undue kind of a rise, and then strategize. For compulsive, traders, that's a challenge. What do you buy every day when the market opens? But for investors, you would still have to kind of bide your time.
That's true. But what about PSUs? I mean, some of these PSUs are seeing incremental buying. Should one book profits in PSUs for sure now?
So PSUs, again, it's a very broad brush segment. I mean, if you look at some of the PSUs like Irida, you mentioned, the reason it's done well is that it's moving into a next, it's evolving rapidly into a very different phase of growth. The IPO came at just about 3,000 crores market cap. Today you have, they collected 3,000 crores, and now today you have a 5,000 to 6,000 fundraise that's been penciled in. It actually tells you the kind of strong growth that this name would have. So you would probably see some sort of a thing move up to about 250 to 60 zones before it starts consolidating. But there are pockets of PSU, for example, the OMCs. I don't see any reason why a BPCL at these valuations will still not be safer. So there is growth. There is going to be a demand for oil. The overall oil context is not looking so expensive. And the best part is that you're not overpaying for some of these OMCs when you buy. I know they're boring. They're not very exciting as much as defense stocks or railway stocks or something like that. But you'll have to be extremely selective in all these sub pockets. Railways, we keep liking something called Aircon. Given the fact that it has an order book, it's actually lower than what it used to be at its peak. So those are the things that you need to fine tune. But I think PSUs will see a little bit of a sell off if there is something which doesn't kind of favor them, or there could be pure sector rotation. There are other sectors like chemicals, paper, sugar, which haven't actually been in the limelight and haven't been bought into. So money might move, once profit booking happens in some of these inflated valuations on the defense and power side, and money could see its way going into that. So you'll probably see, you could be, a victim of that sector rotation, which can be very sharp as and when it happens. So be careful about that is what I would suggest.
So a lot of money is moving into the IT sector as well, although nothing has changed on ground in terms of discretionary demand. But I think it's the fact most of the brokerages believe that revenues may have bottomed out now and things could perhaps improve from the second or third quarter. Your thoughts? Would you also expect some bit of recovery in terms of discretionary demand to kick in perhaps from the third quarter, and particularly from first quarter? Are you expecting any revision to guidance, or do you think that's done now?
So I don't know whether the guidance gets revised, but if it does, it'll probably be a wonderful trend-setting kind of a moment for most IT names. The way some of these larger ones like Wipro and HCL Tech and Infi are getting bought into, it's just a matter of allocations being slightly underweight earlier, and banking has done well. So that's a bigger piece. And then IT is something which always lagged in terms of allocations, especially from the institutional money side. And that's what's changing a bit. But from a fundamental perspective, you're absolutely right. There's nothing much that has changed. Is there anything that tells us that constant currency revenue growth is going to be back again to its, let's say, 21 highs? I have doubts on that. And even if things happen, it'll probably be very selective. It'll be so selective that you'll probably see some mid-sized IT names. I'll tell you, for example, there's a company called Sonata. Very small company that we really don't talk about it much. But it could do, in terms of, some of its businesses, it could show some very good, strong trends of growth and of course, margin improvement. And if that was the case, it's underbought, people would come and buy into. But then, some of these names are not in the F&O segment, so there's really not much momentum. But yeah, I mean, you the way OFS is done or a Coforge is doing, you'll probably have some of these mid-sized IT names spark up quite a bit if things look up, because they're not very dependent on very large orders and things. I mean, even a small order improvement can make them chug along very well, unlike the TCS and Infis of the world. So have a mix. Have a couple of names in the large ones, more from a momentum perspective. But fundamentally, I think it's a mid-sized IT names which will probably do better.
Okay, we'll of course be watching out for the earnings as well that start trickling in from next week. But last question, really, I want to get in your thoughts on a Castrol which was buzzing quite a bit yesterday. Brisk buying, management guidance was pretty strong. I think last time when our network spoke to them, and they're looking at some innovative launches to cash in on the data center opportunity as well. They could be launching some cooling fluid for servers, right? How big a driver would you think that would be for earnings, and should one accumulate the stock on the basis of the new product launches or the innovative product launches that the company is looking at?
Oh yes, the answer is yes. Though probably we are a couple of days late for the first move to have gone through. But remember, this business makes a lot of sense for a company like Castrol at about 24,000 crores market cap. You had this company which was just growing at 5%. There was nothing very fancy about it. They kept on generating cash, giving it out as dividend. There was absolutely, very tepid growth. Suddenly, you have this new area of work which kind of, adds a lot of potential and optionality to it. And these products they've already tried in markets like the UK. They've done well. So they have the right to win. And data centers is something which is fairly secular. It's not something which will last just for a few months, just for a year or two. It's going to be a trend which will be fairly large. So my sense is Castrol will get into a new orbit if things get accepted, and there's not much of competition here as yet. In fact, yesterday there was another oil company that was perking up just because Castrol was perking up. But lubricants is a very separate business. Cooling fluids is a very separate business. Castrol actually straddles both. So from that perspective, I believe, yes, on dips, if you add Castrol, hold it for a slightly longish period of time, you could actually get rewarded very well. But then it's a long haul. As I said, the first move in terms of anticipation has already been built in, but there could be much more in the years to come. And for that, you'll always see, ups and downs before that stabilizes.
All right, that's the view on Castrol then. But with that, Prakash, I'm afraid we are running out of time. Would like to thank you for taking our time and joining in.
My pleasure.
Always a pleasure chatting with you and getting your insights on the market and so many stocks. Well, with that, let's go back to Chandan then. Chandan, let's quickly address a few queries before calling it a day. Satya CK wants to know your thoughts on an SJS Enterprises, and he wants your view for the next 1 to 2 years, whether he should hold on to it or book profits. He hasn't mentioned how many shares he owns, but SJS Enterprises has seen very good traction in the last 1 month. Should he book partial profits or should he hold on and wait for higher levels?
I think he can continue to hold the position with support of 840, with support of 830. I think this ongoing momentum could continue. Overall, I'm expecting 1,000 kind of level in this counter.
All right, that's the view. Hope that answers your query. You can continue holding this stock. Next query is coming in from Vignesh. Wants to know your thoughts on a Happiest Minds for a target of 1,000 rupees. Is it the right time to accumulate at current levels or wait for a dip? What would you advise?
I think this stock is not in momentum and got stuck in a range and has been outperforming from last couple of quarters. So I don't think it will be in hurry to move higher side. Yes, if someone is interested to know the level, one can trade in between 800 to 900 zone. So I think it's likely to be in a broader range in the market.
Okay, that's the view. Hope that answers your query. The next one is coming in from Rinal Banerjee. Wants to know your thoughts on a GNFC. Fertilizer stocks had seen a very good run, but that run has moderated a bit now. But particularly on the charts, how is a GNFC looking like for you? Last 5 days we've seen a 4% up move, but after consistent up moves, the sector did come under profit booking, right? So here on, would you advise buy on dips on a GNFC?
Yeah, buy on dips can be utilized here. Overall positive move, but fertilizer counters have their own nature that they move and then suddenly goes for sideways and then again next leg of rally happens. So I think any decline towards 700 he can accumulate for upside move till 750, 780. But yes, needs to buy only on declines.
Okay, buy on declines. That's the view. I hope that answers your query. Just about time for one last query then. Tanisha Jain wants to know whether HFCL is good for a fresh entry for the long term at the current juncture. Would you advise?
Yeah, so I'll talk about HFCL, but Nandita, we talked about shipping, and I think in last couple of months, every time we are talking about shipping and defense, and see the momentum in Cochin Shipyard, Mazgaon Dock, GRSC. So I think all these counter are likely to should be in mind of the viewers. Now looking at HFCL, major trend is positive. It witnessed decline in last 2 weeks, but again bottomed out. So I think with support of 117, one can hold for an upside move till 135, 140.
All right, that's the view on HFCL. Of course, keep all those shipping stocks as well on your radar, as Chandan has suggested. But with that, I'm afraid we are completely out of time now. Chandan, would like to thank you for taking out time and joining in. Every time we touch base, the markets are at a new high. So let's hope next time when we touch base, the markets or the Nifty would have crossed that 24,500 level as well. But appreciate your taking out time and joining in this morning.
Thank you so much, Nandita. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. With that, of course, we've come to the end of the show, but leaving the markets in fine fettle, the Sensex 80,200, there's no stopping the bulls. The thriller of a Thursday, that's how it's looking like at the current juncture. 24,350, that's where the Nifty is at, and the Nifty Bank Index, seemed to have cooled off after yesterday's up move, but nevertheless managing to hold on to that 53,000 mark as well. But with that, completely timed out on opening bell. Thanks a lot for taking out time and watching the show. If we couldn't take up any of your stock queries, don't get disheartened. We'll try and get them addressed tomorrow. So keep them coming in as you watch the show. But with that, thanks a lot and have a great day, and stay tuned to Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.